Hello, my name is Nan Montgomery. I am the Extension Agent for Family and Consumer Sciences here in Allen County, and I'm so happy that you tuned in to the NCTV Kentucky Proud Plated Up Recipe of the Month. And today we are going to feature watermelon. So we are going to make a watermelon salsa. So let's get started. You'll need 2 cups of watermelon. The recipe does call for seedless, but if you don't have that on hand, it's okay. It calls for a cup of blueberries, half a cup of onion, half a cup of cucumber, balsamic vinegar, garlic salt, and lemon or lime juice. It also calls for a bell pepper, but we didn't have bell peppers on hand, so something that I like with these recipes is you can modify them for what you do have in your pantry. For example, even though this recipe called for 1 cup of blueberries, I had some blueberries that were going to go bad, so I have about 2 cups in this recipe, and so that's just something that I like. We're just going to add a little bit more fruit into this dish. So here is my 2 cups of watermelon. And a few things about watermelon. So first off, I have washed my hands and I washed all of my produce. I even washed the outside of the watermelon. That might be something that you don't think about doing because watermelons can be big and bulky, but it is important that you run them under cold water and then wipe them off. When you don't wash a watermelon, you can introduce that bacteria into the fruit part. It's also important that if you're buying melons this season, so whether that be a honeydew or a cantaloupe, that you also wash those before you get ready to cut into them to remove any of that dirt or bacteria. So my 2 cups of watermelon have been added. I have about 1.5 cups of blueberries that I'm going to now add into this dish. I have my 1/2 cup of onion. This is a white onion. If you have a red onion or maybe green onions at home, those would be perfectly fine to use as well. Those are also, your onions are still in season at your farmer's market, as well, of course, with your watermelon because it's August, so watermelons are in season from July to roughly September. Here is my 1/2 cup of cucumbers. And a little fun tip about cucumbers, if you chop up a cucumber and they have a little bit of a bitter taste, a way that you can take some of that bitterness out is if you take a vegetable peeler and you peel the skins off, then it can help alleviate some of that and make it taste a little bit better. Next, we are going to add our balsamic vinegar, and our recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Then we are going to add our garlic salt. This says 1/2 teaspoon. And then lastly, we are going to take lemon or lime juice, and this is going to be a teaspoon. Now we are going to mix all of these ingredients together. You want to make sure that you get the bottom in here so that the balsamic vinegar, gets all over your produce in this dish. And then our recipe also says that we need to put this into our refrigerator and we need to let it chill for 1 hour before serving. And that's just so all of our flavors can marry together, and that watermelon is going to soak up the lemon juice or lime juice, the garlic powder and the balsamic, and it's just going to give you a wonderful, refreshing summer salad. Also, I want to point out watermelons have a lot of vitamins and minerals, and they're really good for our body. So watermelons are actually really good for heart health. Watermelons can also help with your vision, and they have what we call a phytochemical, and so basically that is something that could potentially help with cancer. And so that's important to eat your fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables both contain those phytochemicals, and those can help your body just get the vitamins and minerals they need to potentially help with cancer. And storage. When you go to the grocery store, you want to make sure, or the farmer's market, you want to make sure that you pick out a watermelon that is heavy. Also, watermelons will have a creamy yellow spot on the bottom. That is a sign that that is a good watermelon. So I know lots of times when we talk about shopping for produce, whether it be grocery store or farmer's market, we talk about produce having blemishes, that we don't want to pick out those types of fruits or vegetables. But it's kind of the opposite with watermelon. You want to look for that creamy yellow spot on the bottom. That is a perfectly good sign that that is going to be a good watermelon, and it's called a field spot from where it's been on the vine and it's got nice and ripened for you. Also, storage for your watermelons. It is important that once you cut that watermelon that you eat it within 2 or 3 days. And if maybe you have bought a watermelon but you're not quite ready to cut it, then you can store it in a cool, dry place and it'll be ready for a week or two, and then you can cut into it and eat it for, with your family at a different time. So thank you for watching this month's Kentucky Proud Plated Up recipe. This is watermelon salsa. You can contact NCTC for the recipe, or you can also go to platedupkentuckyproud.com for the recipe, or call the Allen County Extension Office or any other extension office in Kentucky and they can get this recipe for you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next month.